Heartbreaking news, breaking news of the Cleveland Browns once again. The defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz, has resigned, turned in his letter saying that he will not be the defensive coordinator for Myles Garrett and that defense, along with also Shedeur Sanders of the Cleveland Browns. Todd Monken will be looking for a new defensive coordinator. The news broke by an insider, NFL insider, Ivan Rappaport. He said Browns defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is walking away. The team tried to bring him back in the fold, but it wasn't to be. One of the top coordinators is now out, as Cleveland will need to fill that important role for Tom Monken's coaching staff. Also, Jim Schwartz leaving the Browns create a mixed bag of emotion. While the defense had some incredible games up under Jim, but he also had some bad games up under him. 10 sacks, dominated against the Raiders, but got gashed by the Tennessee, worst offense in the league. Suffocated the Packers, but couldn't stop Carson Wentz from going 80 yards for the win. The highs and lows of the Cleveland Browns football team under the leadership of the defensive coordinator, Jim Schwartz. Also, Cameron Justin, who is a Browns reporter for the news, statement from the Browns' own DC Jim Schwartz resigning. Yesterday, Jim submitted his letter of resignation as a defensive coordinator of the Cleveland Browns. Would like to thank Jim for his contribution to our organization over the past 3 years. Our search for a new defensive coordinator will begin immediately. That's Cameron Justin, who's also is a reporter for the Cleveland Browns. As you see, the Cleveland Browns will be looking for a new defensive coordinator for this upcoming year for the new head coach, Todd Monken's staff. Now, when I was listening at the press conference of the introduction of the new head coach, Todd Monken went out there and told us, man, he didn't give a rat ass about Jim. If he want to come, he welcome. If he leave, he cool with that too. I'm sure Todd Monken got somebody that he would like to bring in as a defense coordinator. And also, he might just want to promote within, because he's on record saying he's going to keep the same defense what Jim ran this past 3 years. And like I say, he can promote within or he can go outside. So you tell me in the comment section, is it good that Jim is leaving, or would you would like for him to stay? Me personally, I'm glad he's gone. I don't want nobody. I'm on record. Don't want nobody that Kevin Stefanski brought in to coach this team. Just don't. No, not the way they treated Shedeur. Now let Jim. Jim did a good job. I tip my hat to him, right? He did a good job. You can't take that away from him. But going forward, after the reports was coming out, how he was acting just because he didn't get the job, yeah, I don't think Todd will want that in his locker room, being a part of his coaching staff. And he up there want one way, and Jim doing it another way. Too much conflict right there. But, hey, Todd can still go outside, man. You got Greg Williams, was a hell of a defensive coordinator. You got Frazier. I forgot who Frazier with now. He was a heck of a defensive coordinator. Shit, you got Rex Ryan on TV. Even though he out there talking crazy about Shedeur, Rex Ryan is a bad defensive coordinator now. So, Todd got some good options about that defensive coordinator that he can bring in. But, like I said, once I heard that press conference, the things that he was saying, he said he did not accept that job, the Cleveland Browns head coaching job, because of Jim Schwartz. He said he came there for the players. He was trying to worry about chipping Myles Garrett and throwing to the backside of Denzel Ward. I tell you what, let's revisit that conversation, what the head coach had to say. And I'll be back. Todd Monken.
My anticipation is we're not going to change the system. Very difficult to go against. I'm not planning on changing the system. We're built for the system that they're in. currently. And I'm not going to get into staffing because that's not at this time to get into that. But they can be rest assured that we're going to keep the same system. We're still going to let them attack. We're still going to let them play free. I can't see any other way. They're a big reason why I took this job. The defensive players. I didn't take this job because of Jim Schwartz. I have a lot of respect for Jim Schwartz, but as I would hope he has for me. But I took it because of the players that are here, the ownership, Andrew Berry, and the ability to build this roster from the ground up on the offensive side. So, and I said this to the other guys. I didn't think I'd say it, but I'm going to say it. When I was preparing for the Cleveland Browns, I wasn't trying to chip Jim Schwartz. I was chipping Myles Garrett. And when I was sliding a protection to the outside backers or Grant Delpit that were blitzing off the edge, I was sliding the protection of the players. And when I was worried about throwing to the right against Denzel Ward or Tyson Campbell to the left, that's who I was worried about throwing at.
That's Todd Monken talking about Jim Schwartz and why he accepted that job. It's because of the players, not because of Jim Schwartz. And Jim Schwartz has turned in his letter that he's resigning and moving on from being the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. But also in the news, the Cleveland Browns, Todd Monken, have made another hire. The Browns are hiring John Carr as Todd Monken's new chief of staff. Carr is the head of the Starkville High School football team in Mississippi. He was Monken's director of football operations at Southern Miss. So Todd Monken reached down to the high school ranks and brought up one of his people in his circle and hired him as the chief of staff for the Cleveland Browns. That's a big time move for a high school coach. It is, y'all. You jump from high school to the NFL. That's a big time move, man. Big time move. Now, let's talk about Shedeur Sanders as the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders still have former players out there lifting his name up in the media. Let's listen to Shelby Harris, a defensive Tiger, talking about Shedeur Sanders, followed by Denzel Ward, the defensive back for the Cleveland Browns. They talking about Shedeur Sanders.
I feel like he gets an unfair rep from a lot of people and about stuff that they don't even know about. You know, he's a great kid in the locker room, and yes, he's young, but we all were at one point. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest thing is he's going to make mistakes. He's not going to be perfect, but we're going to be there with arms wide open to help him succeed. And I feel like the narrative about him is so wrong. He's bright. He's so intelligent. He's vocal. And isn't that what you want in a leader? You want somebody that's going to tell you when you're doing something wrong. You want somebody that's going to correct you and also be there for you when you mess up. And that's what makes he has these special traits, and that's what makes him different.
Shedeur, he has all the confidence in the world, and you love that in a quarterback. But I love it, too, because, I mean, he'll give me opportunities, and I definitely didn't pick him off a few times in practice. So, but you got to love his confidence, but he throws a great ball, great accuracy, and, yeah, he's going to be a good player in this league.
But once again, it's good to hear that Shedeur Sanders was a standout leader in the locker room. We already knew that anyway. But once again, family, hey, Todd Monken and the Cleveland Browns will be looking for a defensive coordinator. If you know any defensive coordinator out there, put it down in the comment section. Maybe Todd Monken will run across this video and reach out to the person who you think should be the defensive coordinator. All right? Hey, that's the end of my show right now. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Sports Talk with B. Watts. Hit the like button, subscribe to my channel. Hey, hit that notification button. It'll let you know whenever I drop a video or go live. All right? All right. Once again, thank you for watching. Sports Talk will be watching.